Welcome back to another episode of Chat E, our first one for season 2.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And we'll be talking about all the hot topics throughout the season. So if you do have any questions or anything you want us to talk about, please tweet us throughout the season and we will try and address them.
You missed your chance for this one though. We've already decided what we're going to be talking about in this, and the main story really is drivers going towards season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been quite a few changes to driver lineup, hasn't there? I guess start off with Jacques Villeneuve, who's going to be racing for Venturi.
Yeah, that's really cool. 1997 Formula 1 world champion. I think it'll be interesting to see how he does, because he's obviously, you know, no disrespect to Jacques, a bit older now, but I was talking to him last weekend and he was saying, I was just watching it on telly and thought, I want to do racing, and that is racing.
And it's good that he's very close to Stefan Saracen as well, so I think they are going to be a strong team.
So where does that leave Nick Heidfeld? Because he's left the Venturi team now and he's gone to Mahindra. So it'll be Nick Heidfeld and Bruno Senna, the two drivers for Mahindra, who've got an upgraded powertrain from last year. It's still a McLaren motor, but it's been a bit tweaked from last season, so it'll be interesting to see how well they perform. And Nick was so quick last year on many occasions, but just couldn't quite get the result. No,
exactly. And I think that the other reason that he might have moved across to Mahindra is because, of course, this year they're actually being run by Campos. And Campos were the team behind Next TV, who, of course, brought Nelson Piquet to win the championship. So it'll be very interesting to see how they do get on.
And finally, Andretti. They've got two new drivers. Well, one sort of new driver in Simona de Silvestro. She races with them over in IndyCar, and she, of course, competed in London at the final round of last season, and she performed very strongly. I think she out-qualified Jean-Eric Verne in London.
Silvestro is trying to get past Jarno Trulli. Nicely done.
She's a brilliant driver as well. A good aggressive driver that we like to see.
Yeah, and alongside her is going to be Robin Freins, who is a very quick and talented single-seater racer. He won Formula BMW Europe, Formula Renault 2 litre, Formula Renault 3.5 in back-to-back seasons. He's won every championship he's done a full season in, and he's currently leading the Blancpain GT series, which concludes this weekend. So it's great to have one of the most talented single-seater youngsters coming up with us here in Formula E.
Now, other news as well is that Jaime Alguersuari has very sadly retired now from racing. You know, he had some great opportunities within Formula E. I think his best finish was 4th place in Buenos Aires, but never, you know, quite got, you know, his feet off the ground. But he has retired.
Yeah, he never actually quite lived up to what we expected of him. He was the youngest ever Formula 1 driver when he made his debut in 2009. And so everyone really thought Alguersuari, Buemi, Di Grassi, they were your kind of top 3, but Sam Bird ended up beating Alguersuari quite consistently. And then Jaime had to miss the last few rounds because of health problems, and now he's decided to retire and focus on his music, because he's a DJ as well.
DJ Squire.
I have no idea, yeah. It's a shame to lose Jaime from the sport, but we wish him all the best for the future.
Now, very exciting, the cars have increased the amount of power that you can use during the race. The power on in race mode is increased from 150 to 170 kilowatts.
It's going to be great actually to see the cars running at full power, because in qualifying spec they're mega at 200 kilowatts and it's fantastic.
Across the line, is he quickest? Yes!
Last year at 150 the racing was great, but we're coming halfway between what was race spec last year and qualifying spec last year, so I think they're going to be a lot more spectacular to watch during the race, and it gives you more room to play with when it comes to your energy management during the race. So that's a really good step forward, and it's, you know, credit to these guys at Williams who have been able to make the battery do that.
We've got to talk about the fact that this is going to be the first season where each team have their own powertrain. Well, actually 8 of the 10 teams have developed their own powertrain and 2 have stayed with the original one from last year. And that's going to create another opportunity to increase that competition, isn't it?
Yeah, and we saw in pre-season testing that the cars are already a second quicker than they were last year. And they've still got the same amount of overall power to use in the battery, so the same length of time that the energy will last. But it's how well you use that energy, because the battery remains the same, but how you get the power from the battery to the wheels is now entirely up to the teams. So that's brought about performance advantages, so the cars will be quicker there too, but also competition between the teams. And this is what Formula E is about, because last year was great, and, you know, it kind of changed the perception of electric cars, so you start to think of them as race cars and cool cars. But now we actually get to the development of electric vehicle technology, which is one of the sort of founding reasons of Formula E.
And next, let's take a look at the Virgin livery, because they've made a few changes to it. It was, I'd say, one of the most good-looking cars on the track last year. But here we can see a little photo that they've changed the livery slightly because, obviously, of course, this year they're working with Citroën, and DS Automobiles is one of the main sponsors.
Particularly good to have DS on board, a sort of branch of Citroën, and it's run by the same team that won the World Touring Car Championships, the World Rally Championships many times, so a proper force to be reckoned with, I think. And they've also developed a direct drive gearbox and powertrain, so there's no gears for their guys, it's just accelerator and brake, easy peasy, you'd think.
But it's interesting, isn't it? You know, some of the teams have taken the ethos that actually by removing the gears, you're removing the inefficiencies relating to going through the gears, but actually other teams have done the complete opposite, and they're still working with, you know, 4 or 5 gears.
Exactly. It just depends on the motor you've built and how easy it is to manage the torque of that motor. And the first place that they'll have to manage the torque is the Beijing street circuit around the Olympic Park. One little change for the track for this year, and that's the coming out of turn 2. There's no chicane now on the run down to turn 3. There was a chicane here last season, but now it's going to be a flat-out blast down to turn 3.
It should be very exciting, although this is one of our longest tracks. You know, it's nearly 3.5 kilometres long, which causes issues in terms of, you know, making that battery last, you know, making sure that it is efficient for the entire race. But now they do have that extra power, I'm sure it's going to throw up quite a lot of challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where the season begins. From there we move on to Malaysia, South America, North America, everywhere. It's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be awesome. And it's in just 2 weeks' time.
Yes, yes.
Unbelievable. I can't believe it's come around so quick.
And this season we're going to try and give you even more access to the paddock, the pit lane, the drivers, the teams. We're adding Snapchat into the mix of our social media menageries, and that's FIA Formula E is the address to follow us on that, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
and Snapchat.
And Snapchat, yes.
We are taking social media by storm, and we might even take over some of those accounts as well, so you can see what we get up to. Yeah. But for now, if there is any other questions, make sure you do tweet us, and I guess we will see you after Beijing. Enjoy the race.
Oh, he's going for it. Speed's going for it on his teammate, and he goes through. That is going to be a very annoyed Jean-Eric Vergne. Great start from Nelson Piquet Jr. He looks to the inside line, and he's going for the lead of the race. So careful. Oh, there's the front wing gone of Jean-Eric.